Hi Virgo, I hope that you're doing well. We are here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we have out is Ace of Pentacles. And Wheel of Fortune. There's this feeling of leaving something up to chance. Seeing the High Priestess can be trying to... It feels almost like tune into what's going on. The Wheel of Fortune is feeling like a shift that's happening. It feels too like this is part of like somewhat of a new chapter for you. I am though seeing Seven of Swords. So I wonder if something is like possibly pulling you away from being in touch. As fully as you possibly can be. Yeah, I feel like something that may have been like more cooperative before is possibly not going well. Like it seems like something that sort of was there and then it kind of dissolved. This new chapter that was beginning and then kind of ending, and I even feel like there's not a cooperation there anymore. There was cooperation. I feel like it could have gone in a direction where things could really change. Things could feel different. There could be more of a tuning in that's happening. And I feel almost like it's not. Three of Pentacles is coming out reversed. Ace of Pentacles came out reversed. And so when Ace of Pentacles comes out reversed, it's kind of like a new chapter that's happening or potentially could happen where you see sort of the door to that, but then the door ends up getting slammed shut. And so it's almost like that could happen, but then it's not happening. And then having Three of Pentacles come out reverse can mean too like not cooperating. And I'm seeing Seven of Swords as well. So it feels like this is something like shadow related going on, which means that maybe you're trying to work with somebody and you feel like they are not in like a transparent place with you. This can be like, oh, we're here and we're supposed to be working together and everybody's supposed to be like honest and transparent and good-willed within this place, and then seeing that Seven of Swords feels like something else is going on and that's not what's happening here, even though there was potential for that to be happening and may have even started off like that. It's like it feels like it's not happening anymore. It feels like something got turned around here. And there can be some type of like emotional hiding as well that's connected with this. Ten of Swords is coming out, but it's also coming out reversed too. I feel like something that we may have thought was ended is now opened back up again. Like I thought that that was dead and buried, and now it's somehow coming back alive. Wheel of Fortune too is something that the direction of things depends on sort of choices that are being made. So this feels like it could have gone a very different way, but it's going this way instead. Something is definitely being brought back up again. And this could have been the end of it, when in actuality, it's like the bringing back to life of things. And now which way to go from here, because moves need to be made. So like what's the plan now? This could have also been like there was potential to cooperate, or again, like maybe even it started like that and then everything sort of fell apart, and then it feels like some old thing is being brought back up again, and then there's this like trying to figure out what to do with this. I don't know, like maybe for some of you this feels kind of like a bit of a regression even, and I feel too like choices are still like in the process of being made. Two of Swords is going over by Ten of Swords reversed and Three of Pentacles reversed, and so like maybe there's some type of choice that needs to be done here, but then having Seven of Swords be connected with Two of Swords, it can be something's being put off, like something is not being done, a choice is not being made. And maybe there's also like a not wanting to fully see what's going on here, because maybe it was that like this was supposed to be a new chapter where there was a working together and a foundation that was built upon that. Now like other choices were made, and it feels like stuff that had ended is being reopened now and trying to tune in and figure out what the plan is. But I feel like there's been stuff has been being put off actually. So now that things are being brought back up, what to do about it? And I feel like maybe there's not a full initiative being undergone here. I feel like there can be some anger that's coming up, and there can be some stubbornness that's coming up too. Like, this could be, I'm getting confirmation of this. This can mean, okay, well, there was a willingness initially to be cooperative and for this to be like turning over a new leaf. Now, all of that is sort of reversing and going in a different direction. And then it's like feeling shut down then. Like, I don't want to work together. I'm more set in my ways here. And this is where I'm standing. And I even feel like a saltiness about this. It's like the stubbornness kicks back in, or like the wanting to control kicks back in. And then having this be connected with Seven of Swords, I definitely say that this comes from a shadow place. Like, this can be digging one's heels in when it's inappropriate, but there being like a lack of reflection about this. This can be holding on to things, holding things in place that are not meant to be held in place. This can be like holding on to old ways that are not productive for the situation as well. I feel even like an unwillingness to bend, but it not coming from a place of strength. It feels like it's motivated by something else. And if one were to look more deeply upon this, like what thoughts are motivating that, that would be seen. But it feels like with Seven of Swords being active within the play, it feels like this is not totally being recognized. And there can be not a willingness to see that, meaning this can be somebody that's like sabotaging a collaboration that's meant to be happening. This can also be like, I was going to work with my shadow and like my tendency for this, but now I don't want to work with that part of myself anymore. And so I'm just going to go back to the ways that I was doing it before, even though one can know that that's somewhat problematic, but at the same time being like, I'm not like accountable. So it can be this type of thing that's coming back up, because Seven of Swords is there. So it's kind of like these shadow things that are happening, and then wanting to close my eyes and like pretend that I'm not aware of it. Whether you're experiencing this with someone or you're the one doing it, it's going to be a scenario like that. It even feels like saying something was gonna end, but then it's being brought back up again. Or like something had been worked through and it was closed out, and now it's like, never mind, it's not worked through because we're going back again. Like this, like a retrograde. I even feel too, like with Seven of Pentacles, there is that need for adaptability, but Four of Pentacles isn't really willing to give an inch even. But Seven of Pentacles, in order to prosper, it feels like it needs something given to it. And with that Four of Pentacles, it feels like actually drying something out, rather than watering it. Maybe there's a perspective shift that can be helpful here about investing in what one wants and what one finds important and being sort of on board with that process. I feel too like if something needs to collapse, allowing that to happen. It feels as well like there may be, I don't know if this is a choice being made of like, do we revive this or do we close it out? Or if something already was revived and then there needs to be an adaptation made at that point of like what to do now that that's happening. Because I feel like this new chapter could have been the end of something that was difficult to move through, but now it's like, actually, never mind, it's coming back and it wasn't finished. And I think recognizing what's going on and then assessing the situation and then making a plan from there is going to be helpful, but there can be a, like, not wanting to let this go and needing to recognize what's going on and sort of adapt to a new plan, but then I feel like there's not a full recognition of this. It's kind of like something has changed and it wasn't maybe expected for things to go in this direction, but it has, and if there's like an unwillingness to recognize that and to adapt, it just feels like it's not really going to help, and it feels like there's a need to recognize this. Like almost like seeing something and not doing anything about it when really this needs something to be done here. Because things can move in a desired direction. I'm seeing Wheel of Fortune and I'm seeing Nine of Cups, so that means like things can go the way that one wants them to go in. There just needs to be a putting into something worthwhile. Putting that energy in and to tune in and listen. I feel too like there's some type of lack of planning that's happening. So this can be maybe like there needs to be some type of preparation that's not being taken, or like something needs to be addressed that's not being addressed. I also feel too like there could be a like unwillingness to negotiate, because one may be like, well, I want what I want here in this situation, but there can be a major lack of flexibility here. And this can be even what the initial problem was too. And if one were to take a closer look at this, it could actually be helpful. I feel also too like there's something about like maybe not being upfront about a plan, or it can be like not planning or not being upfront about a plan. There's like some type of issue having to do with the planning, having to do with the next steps being taken, and something that's not out in the open or not being done properly. And I feel too like there would probably be an awareness of this, especially if there was a taking a closer look at this, but that may not be happening so much. And this has to do with like an ongoing thing that's been taking place. Like it feels like an ongoing working together, if we want to call it that, that's been taking place, and that planning and adapting would be quite helpful to get things done here. However, I do feel like there's this like there's a stubbornness that I feel like doesn't fully allow things to grow, and there's like a lack of collaboration because of that, and then it feels like there's indecision as well. when like choices need to be made here and it feels like these are not being made, and it feels too like one really could choose to go in a desired direction, like that can really be something that happens, and I feel almost like that's being put off for some reason, but it almost like doesn't make sense. Like if you saw that something that you wanted, or this person saw something that they wanted was in front of them, or like the option to go down a path that would lead to that, wouldn't that be taken? But I feel almost like something about this isn't fully being realized. Even though it feels like things could change at any moment and one could choose to go down that path, it feels like this hasn't been chosen, and I feel like because it hasn't fully been seen or recognized. And there can be fear that's being kicked up that's creating some fogginess and confusion too, and I just think that it's like making things not fully realized yet at this point. And this can be, again, this like holding on that's happening without realizing fully what's actually being held on to, and this being something that's not very helpful for the situation. I feel like working together is actually the key to this. Like being in a collaborative, cooperative energy really does feel like the key to this, and that things ended up going in a bit of a sour direction, because I even get the feeling that like things could have gone in the direction that one would have wanted. However, it feels almost like things didn't end up happening because of the choices that were made that could have actually made things backpedal a bit here. But then it feels like things can happen after this point. It feels like we can have a new chapter and we can sort of set a new standard here. If there were a decision to end what needs to be ended and like get on with the rest of this and choose to go in a direction that one wants, it just feels like that choice hasn't fully been made yet. And I think all coming back to like Four of Pentacles and Seven of Swords really is sticking out to me, and this can be a like unwilling to budge, unwilling to give, an extreme lack of flexibility, like full holding back, holding on to things that are not benefiting the situation. And it can also be like refusing to change as well in ways that would really benefit things here. And there can also be like a holding on to things in a way that like ends up being quite regressive. This can be like anger, stubbornness. This can be like a refusal to work together, to cooperate. And that like things actually have the potential to be much better than they are. However, it feels like, you know, when we get caught up in things and like the emotion of it all, and there's not a full thinking through of really the impact that it's having, I feel like either you're in that place or somebody that you've been sort of working with in this scenario is in this place, and that things are going to happen because of this, but that it does have the potential to be turned around. Ultimately, it's a choice at the end of the day. So I don't really know what there is to do with that. I feel like this is just talking really about what's going on. Maybe also too, for some of you, if you're working with somebody in this energy, recognizing what it is. Maybe that can be something that's helpful too. But I do feel like something that was like maybe tentatively going to happen does come to an end because of choices that were being made. And I even feel like maybe an unwillingness to let go of something that maybe like kind of toxic to this situation, you know? Maybe this is just a refusal to look more closely. And you can't, if this isn't you, you know, and it's somebody that you're working with, you can't force someone to look, you know. And this can be old, unhelpful ways of thinking and then doing things and making choices that end up really creating issues. And that can be part of this too. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.